They are plain and they are boring. We all have white paper scraps kicking around our craft rooms. But don't throw them away just yet, because I have some genius ideas to share that will help you use them up. Ideas you may not have thought of just yet, especially number 8. Number 8's my favorite. This video is part of a paper scraps stash busting series. I pulled out 50 different paper scraps from my stash and I'm using them up in just 5 days. And when I say all the paper scraps, I mean it. I've already used up pattern paper scraps, ugly paper scraps, and today's focus is on the most boring paper scraps. By the end of this video, you'll be able to transform the most boring papers ever. So the first idea I have for you is to create some texture, and we are going to go for a white on white look for this. I have a stack of paper strips here. Each of these is 1/2 inch wide, and I'm going to layer them up and create a weaved mat. There are lots of ways to go about this, but I have found it's much easier to create the mat on a foundation. So I actually have another white paper scrap that I'm using as my base. I began by stacking a bunch of paper strips along that left-hand edge, just one on top of each other in a stack. With those secured just on that left-hand side, I can now go about weaving in more paper strips. It's really just a matter of going underneath one strip over the top of the next, and then under, over, all the way up to the top. Then I push the paper strip up against the previous one. And here's the point where you want to make sure that everything is nice and square. And I find it quite easy actually because you're working on the base there. It will get to a point where you'll want to secure some of this down, and you can do that. So really I'm just working from top to bottom here, sliding in each of the strips. And once I have sort of 3 or 4 in position, I'm then adding my adhesive. Your main focus here is to ensure that everything stays nice and square. Don't worry too much about the edges because I'm going to use my paper trimmer to trim those up and make those nice and neat. This is going to become a card base. I will create with that in a moment. First up though, I need to get to idea number 2. It is a super simple idea, but simple is always best. I'm going to use my basic shape punches and punch as many shapes as possible out of these smaller white scraps. These are so handy to have while you're creating, and I want to show you how you can add them to a card front. Here's how they'd look if you place them on top of the weaved mat that we just created. I have different plans for these, which is actually idea number 3. White paper scraps were made for these beautifully dimensional embossing folders. This one is from Alter New, and I'll be sure to link it along with all of the supplies I used today in the description box below. I have trimmed up the edges, and this is actually going to be another card base. The card base that the hearts are going to go onto. I'm going to keep things super simple and add the hearts in a grid formation. So I will use 9 hearts in total, and I'm going to align everything based from the center outwards. It's well worth taking a little extra time to get that center row of hearts perfect, because that's what you're going to use as a guide to add the other rows. I will need to punch out a couple of extra hearts. That's good because I still have quite a few white paper scraps here left to use. I am going to use my T-square ruler to align the bottom and top rows just to make sure everything is positioned perfectly. Here's a closer look at the beautiful texture I've created, and I'm just noticing, did I use that embossing folder backwards? I think I might have. Oh no, I'm such a professional, aren't I? Oh my gosh. Okay, moving on. This is the cardstock that I'm using. I'm going to add a pop of color with my card base. You could also just keep on with the white theme and just do a white card base. That would be beautiful for, say, a wedding card. You could also add stitching around the edge. That would be a lovely detail. I am keeping it simple though today because I've got lots more ideas to share. If you've just joined me on the challenge, welcome. I'll be sure to leave a link to the other videos in the description box below so that you can catch up. On to idea number 4, and that is to make your own embellishments. White paper scraps are perfect for this, and you'll need a stamp and die set. I really love the floral ones, like this one from Pink Fresh Studio. I am going to batch create a few of these, and then I'll be able to use these on my cards and scrapbook layouts. Now, I don't want to waste the surrounding white cardstock, and that is actually idea number 5. Use your smaller pieces of white card to pre-make card sentiments. This idea is a time-saving one as well. You already have all of these supplies out, so why not stamp a few florals as well as some sentiments? I want my card to be a little bit extra today, so I am going to use embossing powder. It's time to turn on the magic and heat the powder up. And there is just something about this process that I love. It really is magical watching those little crystals of embossing powder melt away to reveal the shine of the gold. It's time now to die cut these out. Isn't that pretty? I'll use it on a card later on in the video. This is idea number 6. Did you know you can create your own swatches for inks and mixed media using up your white paper scraps? I've done this with all kinds of mixed media supplies. This one here is my Distress inks, and you can see I popped the name of the ink on the back. That one there is my watercolors, and this one here is inks from Pink Fresh Studio. On to idea number 7. Your white paper scraps are perfect to use with your electronic die cutting machines. You can match the grid on the cutting mat here to the one that's in the software of your cutting machine and really maximize those paper scraps. It's the perfect way to cut out smaller designs like these florals. And if you're ever after unique digital cut files, be sure to check the description box below. Idea number 8 is my absolute favorite, and if you have a bunch of washi tape in your stash, you're gonna love this. If any of your tapes are losing their stick, you can save them by adding them onto white paper strips. You can even save the ones that are long gone, those that are not sticky at all anymore. Just glue them onto your white paper strip. You can use these on all kinds of papercraft projects, and in some ways I prefer to use them this way because you can easily audition the position of the tape. I think it's time I used that woven background piece that I created right at the start of the video. Let's make a card. I'm going to add a little bit of color to my die cut florals here. I'm just using a blending brush and some Distress ink. Super simple. I've just chosen a color that coordinates with my washi tape strip, and I have positioned that down the left-hand side of the card. I'm going to add the sentiment at the top there and then trim off the right-hand side edge here just to get the proportions of the card right. It's looking lovely. Time to add a couple more embellishments, and I am going with these orange enamel dots. I'm going to nestle those in amongst the leaves here and just create a couple of clusters. The card front is now complete and ready to add to a card base. Here's a look at the finished card. Idea number 9 is to create project templates. This is a great way to be able to reference complicated card folds and measurements. This works on all kinds of projects and for things like this. I've actually only just gotten into these layered stencils, so I am still building up my skills with these. And when I find a colour combination that I love, I want to be able to remember it. The best way to do that is to make a template. I simply take a paper scrap and recreate the colours on that scrap. Then on the back, I record the colour names and I'll know exactly what combination I've used. Idea number 10 has certainly come about for me through necessity. I am mixed media challenged. I really struggle with these techniques, so I really need to trial and test them. I test all kinds of mixed media ideas on my white paper scraps. It's nice to know that I have the freedom to just play. At the end of day 3, I feel like we're in a pretty good place. There are still quite a few scraps left and they are getting smaller. Not to worry, I do have a little bit of magic up my sleeve. I've got an idea. A way to stretch these scraps, and I'll show you how it works for a card and a scrapbook layout. I'll see you all again very soon. Until then, bye!